Matiya Ngalande, Honorable Matiya Ngalande. I was born in 1932. During the colonial days when I was born, the district commissioner used to travel to visit every group of villages. They were walking. There were no bicycles were introduced at that time. District commissioner had carriers to carry his tent, goods, food. They recruited carriers, and the district commissioner could live in a group of villages for at least even 1 week. We call it census, almost it's a sort of census, writing each person in each village, the husband, the wife, and the children. It was part of census. And then those whom they knew are mature and they even received the chitupa, the district commissioner said, give him chitupa. He's mature, must pay poll tax. So the people at that time looked at a white man as superior, very superior. Whatever he said, people obeyed. When they heard, and they employed now district messengers, instead of the police, they employed district messengers who were doing the work of the police and the messenger to send him out to tell the people the district commissioner is touring your area. The chief is told the district commissioner is touring the group of villages. That was part of the census, to write exactly how many people in that district, name, wife, and the children. No bicycles were there at that time. People, they recruited the carriers, they called them carriers. People carried the goods for the district commission. On the day of arrival in that group of villages, people abandoned everything, could not work. They had to go travel almost at 2 miles distance to receive the district commission. And when the district commission appeared, people were dancing, so on, welcoming him, and the district commissioner was very happy.
A white man.
A white man. Yeah, the district commissioner was when I talk about district commissioner, was a white man. And he was very happy. He asked the messengers, what does this mean that they have received you? You are welcomed. Until they went to the place where he established himself a tent, a pay tent, food, and so on. Could stay there. Now people, that week he's in that group of villagers, people never go, did not work. They were always coming to be registered, as I call it, census. They wanted to know. So that was part of the colonial days. Now, after the Second World War, so because those who were fighting, the whites, they had nowhere to put them. So which means they have to send them to colonies, not only Northern Rhodesia, Ghana, Nyasaland, Rhodesia, almost all their colonies, so that they create jobs for them. Fortunately enough, they discovered copper. When they discovered copper, now Northern Rhodesia became very important. So because of copper, finding of copper, the first mine was Kansanshi. I think you remember Kansanshi in Isorois. That was the first mine in 1884 under the British South Africa Company. And that is the first copper mine. Then came Rwansha. The same person who discovered Kansanshi is the one who discovered Rwansha. Then when they discovered copper, all the lumber chiefs were removed without compensation to where they are now, Doraruro. They were removed. And again, compulsory people to work in the mines, which was not bad. Compulsory people working now in the mines, recruiting them. When they discovered copper, they created districts. Immediately that place was found with copper, it was a district. It became a district. When they discovered Karurushi automatically became a district because with the white men. And now those who were in the army, who could not be employed, were sent now to work in the mines. And some were district commissioners. Some were provincial commissioners. And an African was recruited to work in the mines. And now they started opening roads. This road from Livingstone to Kitwe was done by hand. There were no machinery. Stamping trees, graveling it. That time the vehicles were not yet introduced in the colonies. And now, at the time now, they started, then the missionaries came in. The missionaries also came in to join the government. They introduced Christianity, especially the Catholics, who originated from Tanzania. That is the Catholics. And the other missionaries came by ship from England, from America, up to Cape Town, which is South Africa. Then from Cape Town, they came by train up to Kabwe. Then from Kabwe, they walked. Those who went to Mongu stopped here in Iru. I was at school. And then I was employed as a clerk at the office of the provincial commissioner in Indora. And a clerk that time was a person who was educated and close to the white man. So, while I was in Indora, I attended the meeting, which was addressed by Nkumbura and Kaunda. So I was very much touched. I was a civil servant. I attended the meeting. And I just attended the meeting to see that person. And what he said touched me. Then we were with the late Chikombe. Again, he addressed the meeting in Indora, about 2 meetings. I also attended. I could leave the office to go and attend. And I was very much touched. So this is the meaning. So a white man is not God. So he can be repressed. He explained. And the Kaunda also spoke at the same public meeting. Kapwepo also spoke at the same public meeting in Indora. Then with the late Chikombe, he said, I think this particular organization is in Lusaka, Copper Belt. But Northern Province, it was there because of Makasa, who also resigned as a teacher. Because in Kumbura made it clear, no Muzungu will allow you to work as a civil servant and hold a position in the African National Congress. So it's better for you to resign than being dismissed.
So is that when you resigned and joined the fight?
Yes. And after that, I said Northwestern Province is not yet penetrated by African National Congress. So while in Indora, with Bareti Chikombe, we made an appointment to go and see Kumbura, where he was staying at the house. He was staying in Chifumo. With the Murenga was the provincial president of African National Congress. So we went to see him, and we met in Kumbura. He said, yes, in Northwestern Province, we have not even gone there. We have not even penetrated many rural provinces. Like Ruapura, we haven't been there. Southern Province, they've introduced. Like Eastern Province, we are finding people to go to Eastern Province. Now, if you want to join me, I don't give salary. Even myself, I don't receive salary. All these who have resigned, Kaunda, Kapwepo, are not receiving salary. So you have to decide one of the two. If you want to be comfortable, you continue as a civil servant. If you want to suffer, join me. No salary, not even a bicycle to give you. You must find your own bicycle, transport. I was employed as a clerk, and the clerical work was the highest during the African National Congress, during the white man, because the white man was a district commissioner. And then I was working for the provincial commission. So we were clerks, we were typists, and no training, but we have to train while on the job. And as an accountant, the same. But now the question is, can I leave that comfort to go and suffer? Because he has already told him, if you want to join me, you are not going to be paid salary, and you must find your own transport. And I have to send you to Northwestern Province and Chikombe, because we are not in that province. And Makasa, I've sent Makasa to Northern Province to start also African National Congress. And he sent that he was sending Ruben Kamanga to go and start African National Congress in Eastern Province. But Western Province, nobody, because it was a kingdom. Yes, could not allow. Copper Belt, he appointed Murenga. He was Murenga.
So,
and then Mutemba. Now, after that then, I decided to resign from government, to sacrifice. And we started with where to get on the picture, Chikombe. And really it was suffering, as he said. We had to cycle from Sorezi to Chavuma on a bicycle. To cycle from Sorezi to Mwinerunga. And then I'm the one who introduced also African National Congress in Kaoma. I had to cycle from Sorezi to Kaoma to introduce African National Congress. So which means At first, when we were telling the people in the rural areas, telling them, they could stand up. That, are you sure what you are telling us? Is it a good story, or we can remove the district commissioner, a white man, from the office? Is it true, or is it just a nice story?
So they couldn't believe it?
No, I'm telling you. Yeah. Even ourselves, who we are telling the people, at times we lost confidence. That how are we going to remove this person with who is armed and without a gun, just words, non-violence, but prepared to go to prison. I went to prison. First, it was 2 years imprisonment in Bwana Mkuu. Then the second one was 1 year imprisonment. Now, this is the position. The struggle for freedom, independence of Zambia was not easy. Was not easy. We used to meet in Bwana Mkuu prison. We used to meet in Mukobeko. Now that time, African National Congress was growing under Kumbura, who knew exactly what it meant. A struggle because of experience in Ghana, experience in Nigeria. So until African National Congress, even the village spread. And ourselves spoke with confidence. We must remove federation, first federation of Rhodesia and Nyasaland. We must secede from Rhodesia and Nyasaland. And then struggle for independence. But the first constitution, Kumbura, was very dynamic. And nobody can talk anything apart from Kumbura. Then also the mine workers started with Katirungu. Now people got up. Copper belt, the mines. And the tribalism started disappearing. Completely.
So people were united against the colonial.
Yes. Now African National Congress in Kumbura worked together with Katirungu as a trade unionist. That we are doing the same thing. Although themselves, they were fighting for the good conditions of the workers. But ourselves, we were fighting for independence. But all of us now worked together.
So you are the common enemy?
Yes. So you wanted to know towards. I was myself the provincial president of Northwestern Province.
Okay.
African National Congress. There were no elections. As they are doing, I want to be a PF president. I want to be UPND president. No, that time, there was no election. You volunteer. Just to volunteer yourself and prepare to go to prison. So there were no elections. Volunteer. So when we were now, things, our friends in Ghana were now towards independence. Our friends in Nigeria were negotiating towards independence. Our friends under the French, Ivory Coast, Guinea, all those under the French speaking countries were also negotiating towards independence. Now, even ourselves, things were coming up. The British accepted to hold a constitutional conference. And when we went Kumbura under leadership of Kumbura, went to Lancaster House, our constitution we were given, because federation was also growing under Werensky, a white man.
Yeah. The governor.
United Federal Party was growing under Roberts. I mean, in Nyasaland, in Rhodesia. Werensky also wanted independence, a white man.
A white country.
Yes, don't give a black man, because Zambia is rich. This man will destroy the economy. And you, the British, where are you going to get money? From copper. So that was now the struggle. On the other side, we were fighting the Federation Werensky. On the other side, we were fighting the colonial masters. So we were fighting the two enemies at the same time. Then when we were invited to discuss about the constitution of Zambia for the first time, Werensky was there. Don't give these people. And at one time he used a very annoying phrase. These people were jumping from tree to tree. How can you give them government? African, we were jumping from tree to tree, trying to compare us with what? A monkey, a hyena, a monkey. We were jumping from tree to tree. People who don't know even what it means, independence. So we were given this concept. This is the most important. But unfortunately, nobody has written a book. We were given the constitution where a white man, they were given 20 seats in legislative, we call it legislative council, for the first time, because there was legico only for whites. No African was represented, only for whites. But this time we fought that how can we be ruled by the minority? And there is a legislative council where an African was not represented. So that time they introduced 20 whites in the legico, the first legico, and 8 Africans. Are you following? Yeah. The first legislative council, 20 whites, and Africans 8. So you accept it. That is where there was a problem. Kumbura said we can try it. Kaunda and Awaso said we have rejected. We are going to boycott it. Are you following? Kumbura, let us, halfway bread is better than nothing. Let us try it. 8 Africans in legico, 20 Europeans. Automatically they have formed the government. 20 and 8. Yeah. Kumbura said, let us try it. Halfway bread is better than nothing. Kaunda and ourselves, we said we don't want that half of bread. When it is your own bakery, how can you get half bread? That is what we told in Kumbura. This bakery is ours. Now, how can we accept halfway bread? No, we've boycotted. And the boycott, we didn't even know what to do, where to start. How can we tell the people? Now we have to tell them we are not going to participate in this legislative council. We are boycotting. Boycotting means to go to prison. You have rejected what Mzungu has given us. So when the time came, we boycotted. We broke away from African National Congress and we formed ZANC, Zambia National Congress, which was ZANC, which we formed. And the Kaunda became the president. So Nkumbura remained to try it. Halfway bread is better than nothing. And ourselves broke away. Then we are all arrested, rounded up, leaders from the provinces and so on. Those who followed Kaunda. Again, prison became part of the house. So that is how Kaunda became now president. And ZANC, Zambia National Congress, was banned. So all leaders were arrested, including myself. Nkumbura tried, but unfortunately, those 8 seats, he just got one. One seat. Others were because when we boycotted, people understood. So very few, like teachers who volunteered to stand. And the independents got 7 seats. Nkumbura only 1 seat himself. Because people boycotted. They didn't elect Kaunda, they didn't vote for African National Congress. They preferred to elect for independence. Because the real people are in prisons. Have you followed me there? Yeah. Have you followed? The real people who understand the Constitution have rejected. And they have gone with the Kaunda.
So then, during prison, what happened?
Yes?
During the time in prison when ZANC was banned, or what exactly happened? Was the independence movement still going on? Or?
Yeah, no, African National Congress was allowed to campaign.
Okay.
Ourselves were not allowed, we were all imprisoned. We were in prison, we were restricted. So are you following? Mm-hmm. Those who boycotted were imprisoned. We were all in prison because they didn't want to allow us to campaign. Because the party was banned. All of the leaders and the followers were arrested, mass arrested. They were going house to house, women and so on, even pregnant women. All were restricted. So Nkumbura was given a chance to campaign. Unfortunately, all his candidates lost except Nkumbura, but independents won, like teachers and so on. So it was now, for the purpose of Nkumbura going in, was nothing, because they promised him, if you are going to capture 8 seats, and we shall make you, we are going to give you a position as opposition party, as a leader. That's why he joined. But now, they told him, no, we can't give you that position, because independence, you are only one. And unfortunately, he was only in parliament for 1 year. He was involved in a road accident. He killed a woman. Mm-hmm. And he was imprisoned for 12 months. Whoever was imprisoned beyond 6 months, so the seat became vacant. Are you following me there?
Yes, yes.
Are you following? He only served for 1 year as a member of parliament. Then he was involved in a road accident. And he was imprisoned for 1 year. So when he was imprisoned for 1 year, his seat became vacant. And up to now it is vacant. Nobody dared again to contest. They tried by-election, nobody was interested to contest. Not even as independent. Mm. On Independence Day, but when we went to London to negotiate for the independence, then 24th October was chosen. Why was it chosen? By our leaders. That we celebrate on the same day. United Nations celebrates on the 24th of October. So Zambia should also celebrate 2 occasions: United Nations and independence of Zambia. Then I was elected, because there was now election towards independence. I was elected as a member of parliament for Kasempa constituency. So African National Congress had only 4 seats in the Southern Province. But UNIP, that time now we are under UNIP. We captured Eastern, Northern, Rwapura, Copperbelt, Northwestern, and Barots. But in Nkumbura captured Southern. So on independence day, Nkumbura was in opposition with almost 4 seats. And Kaunda was going to be the first president. That time I was the prime minister. On Independence Day, at first I must admit myself, I cried when it was announced that we are going to achieve from London that on the 24th of October, Zambia will become independent. Most of freedom fighters cried, each one. Does it mean that what we are telling the people has become true? Just like a good Christian, when he dies, he finds that he's with God, with Jesus Christ. What is he going to say? How is he going to behave? So what I was preaching has become true. I am a disciple. So that time, am I a disciple of what I preached? I tell you, my children, even if you don't want to cry, you just find yourself bursting crying. Remember of the prison, how we were suffering in prison. How we were treated in prison. Has this become true? So on that day, we were at this stadium. That's why it was named Independence Stadium. It was specifically where independence was going to take place. And on that day, midnight, the flag was being lowered, Union Jack, and the flag of Zambia was being raised. And, some women like Ichikaboneka and so on were just collapsing in the stadium. Women were just collapsing. They could not believe it. Even Kaunda himself could not believe it. Now, Nkumbura regretted very much that being coward did not help him. He would be the first president. Being coward has not helped him. And even he didn't serve for 5 years in parliament, only for 1 year, and he feared prison. He was imprisoned. Although he went there, it's a different case. But he was in prison because he feared imprisonment. So he found himself in prison. So on that day, it was just like a dream. Now what shall we tell the people? And nobody had the experience in the office as a president. Nobody went to school where they teach president or minister or ambassador. So we have to start from Chikra on our own. Either we rule badly or correctly, but we were prepared to rule.